afternoon, I'm Jennifer Christian and I work as a portfolio specialist in the investment management team, and I'm going to provide you with a brief overview of this week's market summary. Sentiment going into the week's US-China trade talks was negative after the US placed 8 Chinese technology companies on a US blacklist and China stopped NBA broadcasts. However, global equities advanced over the week amid signs of progress after Donald Trump announced that the two countries had reached the outline of an agreement where the US would suspend next week's planned tariff increases, as China had agreed to some agriculture concessions. Although this partial deal is a small positive, as a truce is better than an escalation, unfortunately many of the main areas in dispute haven't been addressed, namely the theft of intellectual property, forced technology transfer, and Chinese industrial subsidies. Minutes of the Fed's September monetary policy meeting were released on Wednesday, and they showed that although policymakers believed that downside risks to the outlook for economic activity had increased, particularly those stemming from the trade spat with China, 5 policymakers thought it was a mistake to cut US interest rates, and a number of policymakers wanted the Fed to signal the limit of their policy easing. However, they also discussed their objective to get inflation back up to their 2% target, and Thursday's unchanged US CPI inflation at 1.7% should hopefully help encourage Fed policymakers to ease monetary policy further. As we have previously stated, we believe that the US Fed will cut US interest rates again when policymakers meet at the end of this month. And in the UK, the pound strengthened on the news that there was a pathway to a potential Brexit deal after Boris Johnson and his Irish counterpart met on Thursday. However, it is important not to get carried away, as it's hard to see what Boris Johnson actually offered that would be acceptable in Westminster, Dublin, Belfast and Brussels. Additionally, given the joint statement went on to say that they have agreed to reflect further on their discussions and that officials would continue to engage intensively on them, then this does suggest that they didn't actually make that much progress. Although a last-minute Brexit deal can't be fully dismissed, at present the most likely outcome appears to be a Brexit delay, followed by a general election, which will in effect be a second referendum on Brexit. And unfortunately this means that Brexit uncertainty will continue as an extension, and so does nothing except prolong the economic uncertainty, while an election may not end the current political gridlock. Now that's all from me this week, and don't forget, if you haven't already, you can also read a more detailed insight into matters affecting the markets in the email.